Welcome to Commander Pat Alesia. I always stop to make sure I get the name right. Commander of the Nassau County American Legion. And our guest, one of the people he works with, Dr. Carol Hassette. Anyway, welcome, guys.
Nice to be here.
And by the way, we're having some problems with Pat's computer, so we're going to have both of them sitting close together. And since both of them are vaccinated, we don't have to worry about wearing masks. Anyway, Pat, introduce our guest and the fellow worker.
Okay. The thing I wanted to mention real quick was that the way my approach to focusing on the number one priority of the American Legion is to service our veterans, their families, and their community. And I feel the best way to do that is by utilizing a United Legion family approach. When it comes to the American Legion family, when they come together, it's a significant and powerful force for veterans and their families. And what is the American Legion family? It consists of the American Legion Auxiliary, the Sons of the American Legion, and the Legion Riders. And tonight we have a guest, Dr. Carol Hassette, who is currently the president of the American Auxiliary Malvern Unit 44. She was the past Nassau County president of the Auxiliary, and she currently holds a national position as chairman of the Southern District of Americanism Program. So without further ado, Dr. Carol Hassette.
Well, welcome, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Okay.
So what would you like us to talk about?
Well, I'd like to focus on what the Auxiliary does to help the veterans and their families. And we can expand on that.
Basically,
well, before we do it, let's get in. What's the Auxiliary? How do you become a member of the Auxiliary or not the regular member of the American Legion?
Okay.
to become a member of the Auxiliary, you need to be a spouse, male or female spouse, of a veteran. So that's the first thing you need to do. Or you need to be in the direct bloodline, which means a daughter, a granddaughter. Originally, it was females only. Now we have opened it up to males because there are some female veterans. So obviously their spouse would be, maybe a male. So it's open to all of those. We have strict guidelines. We also have been established through Congress. So we have a congressional, we have our own charter, and our purpose, our primary purpose, is to support the veterans, the active duty military, and the families of both. So we have a little broader concept in what we do, but we're there to support. That's our main mission.
And what is your specific thing with the, what do you do to support them? I know you have a great background, and you're a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist?
No, psychologist.
Psychologist. But you have your doctorate.
Right, and I was a former teacher. I was a teacher in elementary school, and I also taught at Hofstra University. So I have a lot of things that I do. I'm also an EMT in my volunteer time. So there's a lot of things that I do. But my main concern here is how we help the veterans. We can help in many ways. We have a program almost every month. For example, for August, we have a back to school program where we support the local Marine Corps base and we send school supplies for them. So we collect the supplies and bring them because many of the active duty personnel who are deployed, because of COVID, their family members can't get to work. So they have very little money right now and they ask us for help. So that's the way we're going to help. Mm-hmm. We collect all of these supplies and then we'll bring them to them before school starts.
For their children?
Yes, for their children. And then in September, we do the POW MIA ceremony. We do that. We actually film it. so that the village has it, so that any time that they want to educate any of the children about it, they can run that, which tells all about the purpose of the POW MIA ceremonies. So we do that for them. Also, Constitution Day is in September, and it's September 17th. And what we're doing this year is we're going to be supplying a copy of the Constitution to each of the elementary schools for the teachers to use if they wish. We also have Patriots Day, which is 9/11, and we support that. We go with the veterans and help at setting up for it. If they need extra people for their color guard, because maybe they don't have enough people that day, we support that. So whatever they do, we're there. We also support the Gold Star mothers. Gold Star, it's actually Gold Star parents, but the official organization is Gold Star mothers. The Gold Star parents, unfortunately, that they lost either their son or their daughter during time of war. So we're supporting them this year, and we're having it in terms of having the legislators, local legislators are helping us sponsor them. And we're going to have refreshments for them and do something for them that day. It's actually the day of the run. Now, what is the run? Run is what we do for trying to keep the posts open. It is very hard to get the funds to keep these posts open. Posts are extremely important because they are where the veterans can gather. They are where the veterans should be able to go to get free Wi-Fi or anything like that that they need. Also, it gives them a place to talk where they can talk freely and don't have to worry about other people saying, well, what happened to you in the war? They don't really want to talk about that. They want to talk about that with somebody who's been through it. So they don't have to give all the details. They can just give whatever they need. We've found through studies that when veterans get together and talk like this, it cuts down on the amount of suicides, which is certainly something we're all very interested in keeping low. So we're non-existent, but that's our current plan. That's what we work with now. In October, we do a legislative day where we go and lobby the local legislators, the Assembly and the Senate here in New York, in Albany. And we talk to them at their local offices, and we bring them out for a breakfast. Purpose of the breakfast is to let them know what we need this year, what the veterans need. My experience has been that the veterans don't always advocate well for themselves. So job of the auxiliary is we will say what they want to say, but they're too polite to say. We say it in a very way, but we try and get across what they need. For example, we had like copy day, copy bill. And first they wanted to charge the veterans who make copies in the hospitals. They wanted to charge them like a tax. So we didn't like that. That wasn't good for their, they get basically roughly 10 cents a copy that they make. And they physically, the VFW uses an outside source. We actually, American Legion has people who actually sit there and make those crepe paper copies. So they're really handmade. When they say handmade by a veteran, they are. And so we worked on that, and we got that bill passed through New York State, which was, as I say, the help of the legislators were really great. Currently, we're working on trying to get the free Wi-Fi, or at least a reduced price with the Wi-Fi, because it's given to a lot of people who don't have as much in terms of finances, but it's not given to the post. And the post is where a lot of veterans can gather. So you don't have to give it to 20 veterans who aren't making enough money. You're giving it to one post, and that post service all 20 veterans. So we're trying to do things like that bring them what they need so that they don't have to ask for it, and we ask for it for them. So that happens in October. We also do a trunk or treat day for the children of the active duty people, so that they get something for Halloween. November, obviously, we have Veterans Day, and we take care of the veterans for that. Usually we have a pizza party for the veterans in the post. We try and bring in outside veterans, but that's a little hard because of COVID. So that's kind of been curtailed. We used to do that all the time, but we haven't been able to do that now for 2 years. The stand downs where they're backing up whatever they need. This year, our purpose stand down was to help with female veterans. The female veterans sometimes, because there aren't as many of them, get left out. So what we did was made up fun in the sun, sorry about that, but little baskets for them. And it had a beach towel, it had sunglasses, it had nail polish, lipstick, flip-flops, anything a girl would like, we gave them. Because sometimes people forget that they have different needs. They think about, well, men need underwear, that's true, but ladies need other things. So that was our assignment this year, and that's what we did. And I think that the veterans seem to.
And I wanted to say is that we worked together on the stand down, and my wife also participated in putting all the stuff in knapsacks. And the day of the stand down, I think we had over 400 veterans come through the drive-through. And so it was tremendously successful, and it was a team approach. And I think in the long run, it helped a lot of veterans.
Do they have to carry like an ID card or, that to show that they're a veteran or be involved with the?
Well, when they pull
post?
up their check, we have I think I mentioned it to you, Malcolm. They don't ever get out of the car. They just give us their size. The are prepared. They press the button, open the trunk, stuff goes in the trunk, and they're on their way because of the virus, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
To have actually, they didn't come by car in years past, but we had like a dinner for them. So at Thanksgiving, which is our November one, we would have a dinner, and we actually got help from the Verizon pioneers, and different corporations would come and help cook all the turkeys and stuff like that. During the summer, they would cook hamburgers and hot dogs. But with COVID, again, we're stuck with drive-by, but it's better than doing nothing. And they really do appreciate it. So well worth it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pat, do you get any work with Sid and getting food for the dinners and things with Rock and Wrap It Up?
No, the Veterans Farmers Market is a separate activity that we do. And that's primarily, as you know, where we set up in Sid's driveway, and different veterans come and they have their choice of whatever is on display on that particular day. Mm-hmm. And whatever's left over goes back to the community center. So that's a separate together.
And I know you have the toolbox, the veterans toolbox with Rock and Wrap It Up. So you make use out of that and promote that at the vet center?
At the last county meeting, Sid gave me a little card that encompassed all the activities of the Veterans Toolkit. And many of the veterans there were very impressed, because all you have to do is go on the computer and you find out jobs that support you, pantries that support you, schools that support you. But the problem is getting it out there and getting people to go on the computer to use it.
And that goes back at free Wi-Fi, they might be more likely to do it.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I find out that if things aren't organized, if you go on Google or something and try to find something without being specific, you get 10,000 websites. You can go crazy trying to find out the one you want. The thing I think with Sid, he has it all organized into one website that you can see with the.
And you go from one to the other, so it's a lot.
Right, because I get frustrated when I go on the computer and I Google something. Aside from the fact when I Google it on the computer, all of a sudden I get 10 other requests, or Facebook, or it's like it's an advertising tool.
Yes.
So that brings us to December. We do a Santa drive-by right now to have a party. But we can't do that because of COVID. And we also do a Secret Santa. A Secret Santa is more for the active duty or for veterans who have children or grandchildren that they'd like to get something special for whatever reason. Sometimes it's a child who has emotional or physical disabilities and they'd like a special toy. So they put in those kind of requests. We read through them. We try and give as much as possible. Usually our limit is $50 per child, and we spend that then just on that child. So we do fundraising for that also. In January, we don't do hardly anything. In all honesty, we just
Midwinter
kind of,
conference
yeah.
in January, yeah.
February, that midwinter conference is something where we go to learn more about what is happening nationally and what is happening in other areas. So to share ideas, that's more what that's for. And in February, we do the 4 chaplains. The 4 chaplains were 4 religious chaplains who were assigned to the Doncaster, Dorchester.
Dorchester, yeah.
And it got sunk by a torpedo, unfortunately. Most of the people passed away. And it's the story of the 4 chaplains and how they gave of themselves and considered themselves all equal and gave like their gloves, their life vests for 4 other young men so they could live.
And the chaplain didn't survive?
Chaplains did not.
No.
And that's an example where you have the American Legion, you have the Sons of the American Legion, the Riders, County, all working together. And it's normally a very, very effective program.
Well, it sounds good because what you're in essence, what you're really doing is giving a lot of the veterans a reason, something, a raison d'etre, so to speak. They, after they've, if they were veterans of the wars, they experienced all that, mess, which, but now they can really give something positive because, I don't know if killing, even though it's for a just cause, so to speak, makes you feel good. But
It's
now
not necessarily
giving.
the killing, it's more, it's more the sacrifice that they for another person, for another person who maybe they never even interacted with before.
Right.
And kind of what the military is based on, that, you share with the people who went before you and you share for the generation so they understand that there are people who will do this kind of thing for you, who don't even know you.
Right.
They'll give up their life for you.
That's something, yeah. Now, how do you fund all of this? Is it, would you do your fundraising each year, or?
We do fundraising, obviously, this past year and currently this present year. We have issues with the fundraising because of COVID. Normally, we would have a dinner dance, or we'd have in October, we'd have a Halloween fun house, that they'd walk through with, all kinds of spiders and hanging around. We can't do any of that. And as you had said, there were groups that I'm sure we could get. You might even know of some of them that might like to do like a play or a skit or something for us to help us make money, but we can't do any of it because they're not allowing it.
Yeah, what's happening there? I hear.
Marion.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
that stuff.
she just got scolded.
It sounds like somebody's doing dishes.
So basically, that because of COVID, we've been limited for what we can fundraise.
And as I had asked Pat before, what do you do to recruit younger people? Because as Pat said, it seems like a lot of the members are older.
Right. We work very hard to get younger people interested, and some of that is by to the active duty people. That's our purpose, because when you reach out to the active duty people, you have more of a chance of getting some of them interested in joining. Because if they're on active duty, actually the American Legion has a policy of most of the units and posts will pay them while they're on active duty. And so we feel that it's kind of like planting. We plant the seed,
Right.
we give something for their children for going back to school, for Halloween, for Christmas, for the Easter fling that we used to have, where we did Easter egg rolls on the post grounds. all of that, hopefully they will remember. And when they have more time and more money, they will then give back. So it's kind of like a paying it forward. You know, we're hoping that by giving something now, and also the education programs, because we do go into the schools, we teach them how to fold the flag, take the flags down properly. Flag etiquette is very important.
Mhm.
We have essay contest. The essay contest goes out all over the country. And actually, you know, we actually had 3 winners from New York State. So it's something that we try and do. We do essays, we do also Boy State and Girl State. Boy State, so many, how many do you pick from the post usually? 2?
2 or 3 from the post. We had a total of 30 boys who went up to Boy State this year from the county.
And Boy State is like Girl State, obviously, just one. The other. What they do is they get to learn about government and how government works. So they don't, you know, they don't speak to Republicans, Democrats, because we're not political that way. What it is they might call them the Federalists or the Gold Group. And it's to teach them how a bill becomes law, what you have to do, you know, speaking in front of people. We also have, so that's a week that they go away.
Well, not getting political, but I wish you would take that group and go into Washington and tell our Congress how government works. Because there seems to be some sort of standstill. Again, I get aggravated, or you know, when not being political, of course, when the Congress goes you know, on vacation for August, and they haven't done anything, and they take a month off. But anyway, that's me. Getting back, and every once in a while, I'm sorry, Pat, I have to, you know, impose my political thoughts.
That's okay, no problem. But I just wanted to emphasize that the individual post sponsors the boys to go to Boy State or Girl State.
Girl State, the auxiliary pays for, and it costs $700. And I don't know what it costs you guys, about the same or a little more. I think you're more. At any rate,
It's $350 or $400.
oh,
I'm not sure.
then
Yeah.
we pay more now. Because
Oh.
most of it is the bus.
500. Okay.
Because the
$500.
bus takes them
Yeah.
up to upstate to the colleges, and that's where they have it, and they stay the week, learn all about that. We also have, in addition to that, the oratorical contests. The oratorical contests are where they, basically, it's like a debate kind of thing, except it's more, it's
It's on an
oratory,
individual
yeah.
basis. Yeah.
It's an oratory,
Yeah.
so it's their own thing.
Yeah.
But it's on the Constitution and what it means to them. They get questions. And so there's something for that. We also have in it the Sons of the Legion, and the Sons of the Legion are basically where the auxiliary is the female direct line, the Sons is male direct line. So you have the grandsons, the children, grandchildren, cousins, whatever, as long as you can show a direct line. And basically they do similar things to what we do, but more things that some of them would enjoy. So they're trying to start like they have in other places. They have a baseball team, they have shooting contests. They have different things that will help them learn survival skills if they need them. And also to help the post stay open and raise money. And they also do a lot of the manual labor, because as the veterans get older, the Sons of the Legion or their children or their grandchildren, they're younger and they get in there and they help with the work. So it's not all on just a few people.
Yeah, because as I was telling Pat, I'm involved, not involved, but I have been involved previously with the Legion in Sherman Oaks, California. On Memorial Day, I organized, you know, a big band playing, and basically they played patriotic music. A friend of mine, Hassette Jr., would you know, put together the band. And the problem is, I saw the Legionnaires made me seem young. I mean, basically, they weren't senior citizens; they were senior citizens. And I think a problem is that's an image that I have, and I think a lot of people have that image? Is there any way that you're trying to, change that to make it to seem a more vibrant type of group?
Well, I guess the only way is to get younger individuals into the various posts. And like I said to you, recruiting is everybody's responsibility, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but we keep trying.
We also do a walkathon in May, and the walkathon purpose is just for the veterans who are in long-term facilities or senior homes that are run by the state, that are VA type homes. And we have there this year, we had an excellent walkathon. We had a group of Boy Scouts, we had a group of Sea Cadets. So you try and get the younger people involved in it. And then what we do is we usually have an ice cream social after, so we don't have to feed them much, give everybody ice cream. But again, all of these things have been curtailed a lot because of COVID.
Right.
When we've got hundreds of people, you might get 80, and that's considered a good count.
Is there any funding that you get either from the federal government or the state government or the national headquarters for the Legion?
You usually don't get money from the national headquarters to apply for a grant. And the grants are given out according to, what they feel the important issues are that they want to address that year, of course, because that's what national organizations do.
Right.
I found that if I can convince the local, take the project of the restuccoing of the building. Our building had to be restuccoed. The post had to be restuccoed. And they were the veterans were really great. They were like, well, we could just put a patch here and we could put a patch there. So I had gone on our local TV and I explained the situation, and we developed a wall. It's called a Veterans Memorial Wall, but it's not just for veterans. So they could put up little plaques for $100. And what they did was they helped fund the restuccoing project. And then we found a gentleman who was kind enough to feel sorry for the veterans and felt that it was a good cause, and he cut his price in half. So we do things like that if there's like a big necessity. And like when we needed air conditioning, one of the air conditioning units broke. So they needed to get new air conditioning. We needed $5,000. So we applied for a grant through the legislators. They used to be able to just give it to you for that, but this time we had to do a walk for them. So we try and work together. They need us to show up for something, we show up. It's just that everything works.
Are you I think it's 501c3, a nonprofit organization that whatever people give to you is tax deductible?
It's a 501c19, but it is tax deductible.
Okay, so did you have people in your group that are seeking, going to corporations trying to get certain, grants or, locally?
Yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, recently the county came up with a grant program where you could get between $5,000 and $10,000, but the paperwork was so overwhelming that I haven't seen anyone successfully get through it at this point.
Because I come from a commercial background. I come from a background of selling advertising and producing shows such as this. And I'm constantly marketing and seeking funds, whether it be for this type of thing. It's more like I consider grants, not officially grants, but when I was selling, commercial, I was selling classical radio in Los Angeles. But the way I would promote it was almost be like, give us a grant. It's not that you get the advertising, it's that you're promoting the good classical music, which basically it's, this is what I say is your view. You go to larger corporations and it's not advertising money you're spending, and it's really technically not grant money, but just to promote an image. But I'm sure you do that, but I always approach it. And when I speak to people, I always find out where you get, it's to me thing is show me the money. How are you financing what you want to do? And there's so many corporations that just have so much money. It's a matter of getting to the right person.
That's always been. We did find a few right people to help us with the clothing for the stand down. There were a few corporations that helped with that. And as I say, the corporations like Verizon, those kind of corporations, communications one, help us with food. But when it comes to the day-to-day stuff, it's very hard to get,
Money. But this a lesson I learned years ago is there's one person that can say yes, many people that can say no.
Yes.
True.
You have,
can't-
I
you can't-
agree with you. Yeah.
you can't go up the chain. You have to hit on top if you can. I remember, my first day in sales, I would go to a car dealership and I go to the general manager. And the general manager, oh yeah, we'll spend this and we'll spend that and we'll spend that. And I go back to my boss and say, hey, I got this deal they're gonna advertise. I said, who do you speak to? I said, the general sales manager. He said, he's gonna go up to the owner, and the owner's gonna say, no, we can't afford it. And they're gonna come back and the general sales manager, I'm sorry, I'd like to do it, but we can't. You have to go to the owner.
I hear you.
But I'm sure you guys know, but I don't know, but you guys that come from a different background than I come from.
Yeah, I'm sure you're successful. It's harder for us because also, you try and fit it in with all the other activities that you have. And, you just try to get to the right person. Not always easy.
No, it's very difficult because there are people that's in front of the right person known as gatekeepers. And it's the gatekeepers, their specific job is to prevent you from reaching him or her.
True.
And well, I mean, we can go into this whole seminar on sales.
I did to have.
But I want to help you. To me, everything is a function of show me the money. A lot of this, what you can do is how much money you have to spend. And parts of it, and hopefully this show helps you promote what happens, and people will see it. And in future shows, you come on the show and tell me what you need, and we'll just lay it out there. I don't, maybe we'll have the right person that's listening to it and say, hey, that's a great idea.
Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, this is what communications is. Yeah, this is, it's as simple as that. But anyway, guys, I hate to tell you this, but our half hour is up.
Okay.
Okay.
But thanks for all the information. Now, where can they contact you per se in your group? Do they have a website for the Nassau County if they want to either contribute or ask questions or want to join?
I don't know whether you guys.
No. I'd have to check. I'll get back to you on it.
Okay. Well, we'll speak next week.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, Carol. Pat, I'll see you next week. And Carol, hopefully we'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mal.
And do me a favor, Pat, get your computer fixed.
Yes, I'm gonna work on it.
Because we're doing it now with the two, with both of them. They had to squeeze together. Of course, I didn't object to it, but for a picture wise, it'd be better if we had a horizontal picture. Anyway, guys, thanks again, and I'll speak to you next week.
Have a good evening.
And remember, tell all your friends, it's malcolmpresents.com, and it's Captain Pat Alesia. Bye.